We'd like to first thank the Bronx College for hosting our meeting this month and providing space for our meetings for about 4 months. This is our last meeting here, but we look forward to being in the space again for the next session, which begins in September. I will begin the meeting by reading our guidance where we can find this guidance on page 7 of the packet. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove the board member of the committee for engaging in inappropriate group, including but not limited to safety, threatening or harassing, slander, threats of violence, personal attacks of any kind, or offensive inflammatory treatment basis of ethnicity, race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, from the board. Members of the public will engage in any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly position of the meeting, while at a board meeting shall be removed from the board meeting at the discretion of the chair or a chair designated. I would first like to introduce myself. My name is Carla Aguilar Carrera. I'm the district manager of Bronx Community Board 7. The public hearing begins now. Please ask that as I call your name, if you can please make your way to the front of the left side. Keep an eye on the eye or the wire that's in the floor. We just want to make sure that you're as close as you can be to the hour here. It's going to capture what you say, and it will capture you as you. So first, I will call on our assembly member, Jacob Lawrence.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. And most stating times. I'll make sure. So I thought I would briefly report on what we are doing in Albany right now, which is trying to pass the state budget. The state budget was due on April 1st. Today is April, whatever it is, 22nd, and we still have no state budget. So we got 3 weeks late. The budget is stuck most not on dollars and cents, but rather on some issues that has been that these issues being negotiated. And I'll just very briefly say what about. One of them is full discovery. Discovery is when a defendant is being charged. There is the evidence that's available. District attorney has to turn over all evidence, full discovery, so that the person who is charged can mount a defense. We passed important reforms to discovery, to bail, and speedy trial reform 6 years ago. Since that time, there have been controversy. Some say that a lot of people's cases are being dismissed because of loopholes in discovery. I think what we did 6 years ago was the right thing. I think we have to protect people's rights, but it was always crucial to try to make sure we do the right thing by everybody involved. So we're trying to tweak the law in order to both at the same time protect people's rights, but also not have cases dismissed based on minor technical violations of the rules. So we succeeded in doing that, I think. There's negotiations taking place on what's called involuntary commitment. Big issue lately has been the fact that there are people who have severe mental illness, some of whom have been committing violence. And we're trying to figure out a way to both help them get some of the people doing this off the streets. And again, we have to make sure we're doing it without violating rights, so at the same time trying to protect the public. One of the issues which I think we resolved, we'll see it shortly, is concerning cell phones in the schools. Now, I know people have, sorry to say that, people have some opinions on that. Some people think, oh, my little kid needs to have a cell phone to get to reach my child, so on. But most educators agree that the kids having cell phones in the schools, especially ones which are most where they can be texting and going online and, going on social media. It's been a big disruption, which is actually a very negative impact on education. Uh, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be banning cell phones in school. Well, now, there'll be some exceptions, for useful reasons, but they're not, kids not having cell phones in the schools. I think that people think be a good plus to their education. I certainly think so. I don't want to like kids need cell phones in school. There's only one reason a child should have a cell phone in school, and that's in case of emergency. But like the school can easily reach a child can easily reach their family, without having a cell phone. So those are three of the biggest issues. We're also trying to negotiate the funding package for the MTA. Just want to make sure that we need money for our trains, for our buses, and congestion pricing, which is one component of that funding, provides capital money for the improvements, so trains, railroad, traffic, and the like. But this funding will be how we pay for what has to be paid for. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that we're doing. It's all going to come together. Again, next week. But you never know, because every time we think an issue has been resolved, another one pops up. But all these things that we're talking about have a real impact in our communities. Fewer cases being dismissed, many people believe it, I think rightly so. Making our communities a little bit safer. Funding for mass transit is very important. Addressing the issue of severe mental illness, very important, and so on. So we'll get there soon. And I didn't even talk about most of the dollars and cents stuff. So anyway, I think my time is almost up, so I'm gonna stop. She's looking at it as if I went over the time. Uh, I'm happy to answer any questions if that's, if you don't, I'll see you with everything I say. So the essential question is, what's the plan if you have a child, for example, that stays after school because of sports, things like that? Those are details, some of which will be left up to the individual school districts. But the main emphasis of this is to make sure that kids aren't sitting in class, not paying attention, texting and doing what they do on cell phones. And I think it's clear, I think every expert, educational expert agrees that this phenomenon has had a really bad impact on learning. We want kids to learn, it was not so many years ago that for a period of time they banned cell phones in schools. Remember when the kids had their cell phone, had this little cottage industry businesses where they set up charging kids an hour a day or something. It's not gonna be like that. But we just want to make sure kids have a chance to learn, because a lot of kids have been behind since the pandemic, and the cell phones in the schools have actually made it much worse. So I guess those kind of details, Department of Education will be working to make sure it's implemented in a way that makes a lot of sense. All right. Okay, that's it. Cool. And I left on the table a sets of palm pods, they're ready to find, I'll take it. Thank you, thanks everybody.
Ms. Underwood. Next, we have, Police Officer Echevarria from the 5-2 precinct.
Well, thank you, Second 24/7, introduce ourselves rare from the second precinct, in the first. Just gonna go over the 28-day period for our 7 major crimes. We're down 8%, 182 crimes this year compared to 198. It's a good sign, but we know that the summer's gonna be starting up, and the weather's already getting better, and quality of life is gonna be a big issue. Obviously, we are receiving a large number of complaints coming in for noise, other issues that are occurring usually with weather. We did lead the Bronx quality of life something this past couple months. So, Brian, the commanders focused on it. Our next committee council meeting will be held this Thursday at 30 minutes from Webster Avenue. Have concerns, they live meeting, hearing, the news voice those concerns at that meeting. I do have a few announcements, a few events that we're going to be having. The first event is going to be our Easter event, which got rescheduled for a certain time. It's supposed to happen this Saturday on the 26th. We're going to reschedule for May 3rd. So I left the flyers at the desk. It's going to be May 3rd from 11 to 2 across the street in the 5th precinct. We are working in collaboration with Never End Love and Bronx Assembly Member Johnson Carter. On May 15th, we're gonna have a coffee with the cop at 40 West 25 at Target. We did that a few months ago. A lot of people had a great time. Opportunity for you to speak to some of the officers, get to know some of the officers, and at the same time enjoy some coffee. They had Krispy Kreme going on, we had a bunch of things there last time. So again, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 40 West 225, which is the Target, where the song is. Last, is going to have an autism awareness on May 21st at 12 p.m. This is open to the whole community. We are working with one of the local schools in our district, but it is open to everyone in the district. We will have people who are representatives for different organizations that support families with autism. So if you're know someone who needs assistance or resources, this may be a good opportunity for you to come out. Again, it's going to be on May 21st at the 52 precinct at 12. Again, I'll be around. Anybody has any questions? Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, man. Yeah, that was a tough situation. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for our police department? Next we have our council member, Derek Taylor.
To be in boards that read. Next we should have a so nice. Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Earth Day. Have an announcement specifically for you, and I'm gonna get to it. Just a few updates you may have seen in the Norwood News, in the Bronx Times, the Speaker of the City Council, AJ Aaron, and I were at case 94 2 weeks ago, presenting a $1 million check to the school to renovate their entire cafeteria. So that's one of the many investments we're making in our school, but that was also a recent one. And it was really, really cool to first see their stamping. And they have a book vending machine there. It was really, really incredible things going on with them before. So it's always great to visit there. It was around science, visiting all the schools in the district, supporting all the schools. As you all know, schools are probably was important to me, given that I was a public school teacher for this job. Gonna update you quickly on Frisch Field. This has been a big stop, I know it was funded years ago. And of course, like all these projects, they discover, there's more work to be done. So they're in the procurement phase, and they're working with DEP on external permitting that was required. And this phase takes somewhere between 9 and 12 months. After procurement comes construction, which is called 18 months. So as of today, kind of looking at 1.5 to 2 years, before Richfield is completed. So, I'll be retired. But now, this is even French Charles Playground, we got an email, updating this playground that's off of Webster. So what we did was we reached out to Parks, what they're doing a capital estimate, so we don't know how much it costs. We reach out to Parks, they tell us how much it costs, that's where we are in the process. Those are local law 44/2024, as you know, and passed legislation that's specifically targeted to our city-run Mitchell residents. The law does is, instead of, if you qualify for screening, you live in the city of Mitchell, if you fill out a paperwork, figuring out if you qualify, HPD will read your income statement and send you the form, fill out the form for you. In my district, CB7, this is Tracy Towers, but there are others, City Mitchell 44,000 units of city-run Mitchell housing in our city that this affects. And so last year, but it is on track to be implemented. So according to HPD, older adults who qualify for screening based on their income activity, live in city-run Mitchell, should be getting their pre-filled out screening forms in the mail. Less work for them, a lot less chance of people not qualifying, not knowing how to fill it in, a lot more older adults freezing their rent and affordably living in their apartments. We also passed a number of scaffolding bills intended to at least make them pretty, and also get them down a lot more quickly. Breathing within buildings, it's going to extend the time from 5 years to at least 6 years between facade inspection, or maybe as many as 12 years. That's going to depend on a report from the Department of Buildings. It's good. If scaffolding's done, maybe a lot prettier, which is one of the laws we did, make better life. But also make it, one, so it's less likely these builders are going to have scaffolding up all the time. And two, save a lot. Because if you have longer periods between when you're doing this facade inspection, if the paid people is open, scaffolding itself, of course, costs money. Upcoming events. One of the things that we've done in my office, my district office, is we try to bring resources to the office. So you're all familiar with West Bronx housing. In the city council, I've made sure their funding increased because of the incredible work they do in our community. And one of the ways we work is they come to our office once a month, 2 office hours in our office. Because it is so successful, because we are keeping so many people in their homes, they're going to be doubling the number of hours that they spend in our office. And we have a similar program with not like really go 60s group. Friday of the month. Not like going to be in my office May 2nd. And West Bronx Housing comes the first Tuesday of the month. So if you have housing needs or legal questions, call the office, please. And make an appointment. I'm sure the shredding events was already mentioned.
What's that? Somebody neglected.
Oh, we dare neglect them fix the shredding event. Who's that? April 27th, the summer minimum. Who else is supposed to sponsor? Who else is supposed to sponsor? Esquire. And Borough President Gibson. Borough President Gibson, Councilor Esquire, someone in Dinowitz, and I are sponsoring a shredding event. This is the most popular event. We save you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a year to be keeping your homes. We fund your schools, nobody cares. You get rid of your old documents, that's what you really care about. So this Sunday, It's gonna be at 3107 Kingsbridge Avenue, that's the 7's district office. We'll have another one, I think, in Riverdale and another one in Woodlawn. So you can come to that. Last two things. Besides bringing resources to my office, we also get out in our community. It's important to me that my district office is just in Kingsbridge, so we get to most of the library district once a month. We're gonna be at the Moscow Library, May 5th, and we have all the dates here. You take a flyer, you have office staff, go to the Moscow Library, you're in person, get into Kingsbridge, take the flyer, please. And lastly, probably most importantly, a lot of these updates and a lot of our community events are in my newsletter. I highly encourage you, if you don't care, to take out your phones there. And go to ericdinwitz.nyc and listen to it. ericdinwitz.nyc/newsletter. How many elected officials say, I'd rather you be on your phones than listen to me? Me. Dinwitz.nyc/newsletter. Events, and again, the work that we do in the community is all on. And yeah. Sure.
10 o'clock to 1.
10 to 1, and the flyers are over there as well, shredding flyers and library flyers. It's probably close to TS, to the event that TSNY to come. But if you think there's people in the community that would value it, you talk about doing the e-waste events. So let's, yeah, Jamie. So right now, then requires sod inspections every 5 years. And if you live in a building, what it means is every 5 years, we put scaffolding, later, the bricks to make sure they don't fall off and kill someone, which is important work. We, the council said, they said there's a safe way to maybe make the time between these inspections a little long. Keeping safe, but also recognizing it costs the buildings a lot of money. We know it. So scaffolding, they do the work. DOB comes and says, oh, there's a brick there. Your tickets come back to more, DOB comes back and says, oh, there's another. It's a chain of not longer than a sheet. So, look, and these are bills that I co-sponsor, recognize the need for safety, but also the immense cost for buildings. What we said is, we can change the rules a little bit to keep it safe, to change when the clock starts, and the amount of time between inspections. The reason we don't have the exact number of years yet, the legislation says between 6 and 12, and it's going to be ultimately based on DOB rules. And they're going to determine after a study, and I think the study is being done in August, completed in August. So by September, there should be new rules, which will provide a lot of relief to buildings and tenants and co-ops, shareholders that are spending a lot of money on the local law 11. So right now, the rule is right now for the legislation, it's like recertify every year. What we said is that look, there are some bad actors in this state, just like lay the scaffolding there. And so it's all you have to do is certify every 90 days. So like, you know, like 4 times a year that we need the scaffolding. That's all. But 4 times a year instead of once a year. And so for the buildings that still doing the work, they'll just sit there, that this will then work. And for the people who are doing those buildings and maybe the negligent landlords, no, they're gonna do what, just leaving it up. They're gonna have to lock, right? They're getting in trouble for it. So that's what we reduce it from the 1 year release.
Scott.
Building owners keep the scaffolding up because of liability. River falls will hit somebody, and not, and we're told that their building is no good. So rather than never fix it, They wait years before they fix it. That's, they can't take that scaffolding down, so it's properly repaired. And that's not the bids, such as the building orders, it's cheaper to pay for the scaffolding than to pay for the point that haven't been done for the project, which is what they really should just.
One other thing the legislation explores, it doesn't have an answer yet, it allows for the possibility of netting, and it doesn't. Because standards haven't been made for netting, we didn't say it's fine, but I think that's also based on rulemaking after this study. Well, like, local law doesn't work as higher environment. The work itself is to decide the scaffolding has to go on as part of it. They have to certify in 90 days that work is being done. That's what the legislation says, that's what they have to certify.
Well, like, part.
I mean, exactly, and I would think co-ops have more of an incentive to speed, to work to more, but.
Thank you, everyone. We have a lot of questions.
It's just, I'm happy to like talk to anyone of this.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
council member. Did we? In the minutes, we also have contact information for each one of our elected officials' offices. So, you know, as constituents, you're free to reach out to them at any point in any time. And now we move on to Main from our list. It's 7:14, so we'll be timing everyone to 1 minute. As soon as you hear my colleague Christiana, you say that your time is be respected. I am first calling on Juan Nunez, followed by Stephanie Gansman.
My name is Juan Nunez. I am an organizer with the Northwest Bronx Community Treasure Coalition. I'm here to invite you to two events that we're having next few weeks. First one is our monthly community meeting. That's this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Dominican Sister Center at St. Nicholas of Townsend Church. We'll have childcare, food, and Spanish translation. This meeting, we're going to discuss what the assemblyman talked about earlier. Budget, as we had, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the upcoming elections and how the elections may affect our forward. And then we'll do the regular breakouts, we're talking about housing, health, and the Kingsbridge Armories, talking about the development as well. And then secondly, we are having a workshop. We call it an assembly at Lehman College on April 30th at 6 o'clock. The Northwest Bronx has partnered with the BXCDC to create an economic development plan. Interested? Again, food, translation, and child will provide for both events, flyers, and invitation. Thank you.
Followed by Katie Spider.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Kenzel. I'm newly appointed Director of Public Relations for Unique People Services. If you're not familiar with us, we focus service-driven organization. Our mission is to provide social services in a holistic and non-judgmental manner to those who are underserved, who have been denied from doing so. Our goal is to provide housing, and support services to meet the physical, social, and emotional needs of each individual, We currently have programs and day rotations located in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. And I have information available on the table if you have any questions. Thank you. Next, we have Key Spike.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Spivey. I am the president of Bronx Local League Football Organization. We service kids from 6 years old all the way to 14 years old. Our goal is to get children at good high schools and get a free college education. And do that in plan. We teach them life lessons, teach them availability, accountability, responsibility, all right, anything other than abilities that's healthy. That's what you have to teach these kids. There's too many kids running around doing absolutely nothing. And we give them an opportunity to do something positive, be a positive environment, around positive men, positive women. And we just want to get these kids to free educations. And that is our, they make it to the NFL, and so be it. I'll be glad to watch on Sunday. But the bottom line is free education. A lot of it is difficult, it's a difficult sport. But we do our best to teach them safety and to make sure they go home with all of their body parts from there. They came to practice. We practice on Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Williams Mental. From school. And Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Williams Mental. Thank you.
Next, we have Cherise. Cherise. Did you have a question, Kiki?
We take boys, girls, requirements is, we do this co-ed, boys and girls. The only requirement that we ask that your kids over to the field, we give 100% effort. That's all we require. Everything else, we're going to teach them. We'll teach them how to throw, catch, tackle, run, jump, all of the things that's all they get involved with football. So, you're welcome. Anybody else? All right, you have a good evening. Thank you.
Next, we have Spike City. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharice Lane. I'm from Columbia University. I'm the project coordinator for the Free Time for Learning Study. It's a project that's looking at how to connect moms in the same neighborhoods and free fitness classes. The upcoming wave beyond for spiritual goal are free fitness classes through our part YC parts for shape of YC classes. It's a study and we're asking moms to complete a baseline survey and awareness around here. At the end of the 12 weeks of the fitness classes, complete another survey and learning accelerometer to track in fitness and activity. It's completely free for moms who have children under the age of 12. Some moms have children's classes will get free childcare. Other moms will get free delivery service from our WISCA, the WISCA campaign against hunger. It's completely free for moms, and we're really just trying to understand how to better support moms in their wellness and their activities and then the impact that she cares for moms engaging in those fitness. Thank you. If you have any questions on the table, to say around the first to see.
Okay, folks, so this is one minute. Okay, last year, thanks for everybody for coming. Everybody here knows about trying to park a car in the neighborhoods of Harlem. So we have people now that are using their motorcycles to take up parking spaces all day long. So that when they come back at night, they can park the cars. They're also using orange barriers to block the streets on a thing, and we need some kind of enforcement to help out the community people who live there or back, spend hours looking for parking. So if there's any help we can get from the community affairs or from the community one or input DOT, we would appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lily. Next we have Rob Fernandez, followed by Michelle. Thank you.
Unfortunately, quality of life is until we don't let, such an on, maybe 6 feet, we grow, especially the building I live in 27, 20 grand. We have programs, steam shooting up, grenading, grenading in our hallways there on top. They still use to get people out of the front rows of as access building. They rent apartments with drug dealers who live and learn out of the building. Their clients come from local products and use them inside the building. You have gangs of teenagers and young adults do not come in the building smoking, yelling, blasting music, and threatening the lives of residents if they call the police. Now, weather's changing, we have people on the sidewalk and streets, their own private nightclub. On Friday, April 18th, it wasn't even warm that night, with chairs, concrete, wall, yelling in front of 720 grand. They had a car double parked with back even wide, using plastic or used cigarette, doesn't involve purified payments.
Wow. Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak at Community Board 7. I'm Michelle with the Bronx Council on the Arts. We are pioneering and advocate for cultural equity in the Bronx. And we support arts and artists and arts organizations in the community. We have exciting programs all the time. I'm going to tell you about some things that are coming up and open to the public. They are always free. They are always having some type of refreshment served. I think that's a plus. So, yeah, which used to be at Business College, but now is at our building at 2700 Tremont Avenue. We have an exhibit that's going to be held there till, we have exhibits there. And from between Tuesday and Thursday, 12 to 6, you can walk in, or you can have a tour, scheduled. Welcome all the tours and the walk-ins. It's called Ancestral Wisdom. There's flyers on the table. I will have the information to your newsletter. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the general board meeting of Community Board 7 on today, Tuesday, April 22nd. I'm sorry for those that got hurt. We do have a jam-packed agenda. The fact that our elected officials just did a representative, maybe they'll be here, said something. It means that when we said we want to see our officials come and talk to us and see us, what we're talking about. Thank you for coming and giving us your information as to what's the kind of previous state. It's important for us to know what's really going on. I understand that reps come and give us a brief synopsis, but to physically have you here says so much more. So thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, moving along, I'm going to bypass district manager's report because we have something special that we're gonna do. We've been wanting to do this, CB7. We've been wanting to do this for quite a while. So I'm gonna call over, and he's not expecting this. I would like to call over EO Stephen here to receive a certificate of appreciation given to him by us. Thank you. Thank you. We all are. So much for being such a part.
Listen, I just want to thank you, board, I know it's not easy to be on this board and to, figure some things, because it's what you guys think it's doing really work. No, we're not perfect, but we continue to try to do my best. This is about 8 years now. It's not as easy to deal with so many complaints. Try our best. We'll continue to do it, and I just want to thank you again. I wasn't expecting this meeting. Thanks so much.
Now, I'm gonna pass it over to the district managers for her updates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Most of my update, you will find a lot of this. On page 20 and 21, executive committee minutes. I'd like to point out that this minute I did not, and for some reason, the watermark decided not to show up during training. In addition to those updates, I wanted to say that we are in receipt of a sidewalk bid notice for Taqueria Luzan's at 2558 Grand House. The public hearing will be on May 1st at 5:30 p.m. at 211 East, 2 on Thursday. And another great news, the cars for turf field reconstruction is ready, and then the ribbon cutting ceremony in May. Also happening in May is the New York Botanical Garden, Everett's Children's Garden is opening, more details to follow. And on Tuesday, May 20th at 7 p.m., we will be recognizing the 5 years that were awarded the Yankees scholarship this year. And that concludes my other.
Thank you, Bertha. Thank you for your updates. Moving on to the chair's update. I just want to say that in the news, we've been notified, and everybody knows about the situation of the Kingsbridge Armory. There was a lot of questions surrounding it, and all I can tell you is, once we have a date on anything that goes, we will definitely notify. We don't know all the logistics of everything. You'll know the same thing that was reported in the news. So as soon as we have any information directly from the elected officials, directly from the VP's office, we will definitely let everyone know. Second, I just want to remind our members to be mindful of the media with this situation, because it's a sensitive topic, and we just don't want it to be misquoted or being misheard. The last thing I would say, sharing services, essential relearn, are going to be looking to cover replacement at some point. We do the next session. Okay, moving on. We're a little bit to our secretary, attendance and roll. Can everybody hear me? Rosewood, Ledgewood. Jason Lopez, Hudson. Marcus McCordy. The biggest songwriter. Hayden Pena. Victor Rivers. Rock and Roll Mom. Esme Sakalu. Mamadou Salina.
Present.
Barbara Strong. Gwen Thomas Steve. Eureka Ventura. Gwen Warren Santiago. Jen Wilson. Sure. Bernard Ryder. Larry Scott. Asha Andrews. Ben Johnson. Yahala Roberts. Golden Buford. Marjorie Chowder. Molly Willie. Connor Harris. Michael Williams. Lowell Green. Elaine Burton, Nasty President. James Young, President. Alicia Holland. Angela. And Stephen Bogart. Thank you. We have 4. You have any moving on, a review of previous month's minutes, so that starts from page 7 to 19. So more likely, take a moment to take a look at them, and we will discuss any corrections for secretary to make known. Thank you. Second. Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Honey?
Susan Wolf, 10. Marcus Clark. Chairman, Planning Daniel. Moreno. Robin Rowan. Smith Sanford. Ron Chapman.
Approves.
Rashad. Gwen Constantine. Elaine Mitchell. None. Dave Wilson. Okay. So. Sharon. First, Tony. Roger Attack. Tomorrow Wood. Diana Harris. Grant. All the rooms. No. Anyone back. Virginia. You should call her. Anybody other? Stephen Gordon. Thank you, motion. Since. Well, correct. Thank you. Moving on, next part of the agenda is the resolutions. We have 5 of them to go over. The first motion is from education to the higher.
See, this. We received word that the New York Public Library. Brooks Library is considered, they just got funding for their HVAC systems. So, they're not having business. Sorry.
Thank you, that's good news. Means our libraries are getting the money they deserve for the things that they do need to have fixed. So this is really, really good. Thank you. Moving on, we're going to move on to the next motion. It is for our nominating committee. And it is the acceptance of the nominating committee for the election that will be held in June. And the motion is to accept the nominating committee members. Jesus was elected to be the chair. Would you like to present the motion, Jesus?
The motion to accept nominal members. It's required across the sales bylaws. This is following the appointment of nominal members by C7's board chair. This motion sends to regular as settlements. So, yes. The committee members are Frederick, Benny Smith, Raymond, Susan Jensen, and Sasha.
Alfred Grant, Betty Armstrong, Lauren Reed, Mrs. Lopez Jensen, and Tasha. The people standing, the members standing are the members of the nominating committee. Thank you for accepting. And do we have a second for the citizens motion? For our seconds, any discussion? So we're ready to take a vote. Lee?
Ladies and council. Karen. Betty Rosner. Lahira. Robin Hubert. Michael Tower. Molly Stewart. Barbara Harrison. Bruce Grant. Robin Green. William Catastrophe, Virginia. Thomas, Bishop Miller. Anybody else? Stephen Moran, mostly good. Thank you for the discussion. Support. I hear. Thank you, Ramos.
Very good motion.
Robin Long. Thank you, Dr. Monk. Martin Satter.
Uppers.
Robert Strong approved. Gwen Thomas T. Related Minister. Approved. The same board. Jay. Wilson. And Bernard. Up to members.
Thank you, Lee. Moving on to our next motion, is the executive to send a letter of policy whatever on the EBC project ID HWXE 136D to the New York City Department of Transportation Office of Construction and Migration Inquiry.
Okay. Basically, the motion title is issues, construction, phase 5, construction. It's called forward by the executive committee, because we found out they put it on their transportation beginning of. And they needed the response clear. So basically, the University Department of Transportation, construction, mitigation and coordination. And the New York State Department of Design and Construction, are the meeting addressed. Director of action is to send a letter posing overnight on DBC project. D North String HWXP 13, the New York City Department of Transportation, Office Construction, Mitigation, Coordination. Basically, estimated street construction hours for staying. The suggestion according to the letter to them to 70. So we send it to the project is later in the design and construction. Last hours, although overnight construction, major structure. Flow of traffic regression, there's some order minutes, 190 less. And the executive committee believes that it may disturb the area's residents with the construction notice.
Do we have a second for the motion?
Ready? Have an issue with this is written up. So okay. So the rationale for recommendation isn't clear with it. I believe it should be, will go overnight construction may disrupt the flow of traffic less on the Grand Concourse from Fordham Road to 198th Street. The executive committee believes it may disturb the area residents with construction noise. Without this. Let's will be it.
Anyone else? Discussion?
No, overnight construction is $13,000, you know what?
Yes, on the project, changing of the sewer line, going from Kingsbridge, going down Kingsbridge Road, out as far as Bainbridge. So there's gonna be digging, it's gonna be, it's along with, it's not just, repaving. It's repaving and upgrading of the sewer system. All in.
Any other questions, discussion? Toby?
The effect, there's gonna be lane changes and staying overnight. That's gonna impact the traffic flow going north and going south. They try to do one thing at a time, they don't shut down the whole campus once. They've been doing it from 138th Street and now that's as far as Fordham Road. If you notice, the section from Fordham Road to 198th Street is the last portion. Then the zone going south. So during the day, the businesses had to deal with the traffic. There was a lot more impact doing it during the day, and they opted to not do the nights either. There's a lot of residential in one of the countries, so it's supposed to go down Kingsbridge, going to Bainbridge Avenue. Because they're supposed to be doing, repair and replacement of the sewer mains, water mains. So that's gonna impact anyone who tries. Like the traffic, there's always gonna be traffic. And they've done with it pretty fast. So, it's not gonna be anything really different. So.
When the discussion was taking place, it was between, yes, it would be less than the project traffic flow to do construction on it. But what does that mean to the neighbors who live in that surrounding area? So the point of it that the motion is coming from is looking at from the residents' perspective to having late and overnight work, which is usually from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So what does that mean to sleep times and everything?
Just to clarify a little bit, when we had the discussion on exactly. We're not opposed to the work being done, it's just more the hours when it's being done, because we know that that particular section of our district is highly trafficked. We have schools during the day, the buses, it's just another section for the home in our area, it's highly congested. And then we have to play around with the idea that we do have residents that work, that are home during the day and work at night, and have to go to work at night. And during the day, is there time to sleep, is there time to do whatever they have to do? So if this is was not an easy decision to come to a decision, because we do have to take into account that we do have people that have different walks of life, different careers in our neighborhood. So we're not, so the work being done, we do want a better city, we do want things to be better in the sewer system for sanitation and environment. However, how long is it gonna cost the quality of life detriment to our residents? That's the question. Betty?
Sincerely, it's certainly impact me. I also understand they're doing construction, there's gonna be no parking on those streets. So nobody can park overnight now. They're gonna have different places to park. And if I can get home, I can see. So it's kind of double impact. Then we're not gonna take away. So that's why DDC actually came to us to ask us, the residents also to be in conjunction with them. We had a meeting to try to see if they can reach out to us, anyone from the neighborhood specifically, for any issues, with the construction being done, or we didn't hear anything now. Yes. Well, then, other three, it's still different. There's not construction going on there, also, there's a lot of buildings in that section. Look at the areas like between 7 and 40. The whole Congress is in reverse, right? There's buildings on top and stores on the bottom. So the community was able to use those times also. So always that our area, our residential neighborhood, that's why I to see if we can keep it for during the day and do it at night. Residents small. No. We have no work on the weekend. There may be a special situation where you need to do something on the weekend for continuing work or whatever, but they said they didn't prepare notify us of any changes or any special comments during the restriction once it starts. All they've done so far is they protected all the trees that are proposed, there's wood going around the trees, going up the concourse, that's to protect them from getting hit. But, basically, anything that changes from Monday to Friday, 7 to 3, they'll come in on Saturday or get to the meeting and notice. Yeah.
Said to be 2023. And the link to that presentation is in the motion itself. Right, so the motion is on page 12. And if you look at that thing, where it says the link, that is the link to the motion itself. But that is the link to the presentation, it did come to the working board, set the project in 2023. And it doesn't give you the information with time, they are a little bit behind schedule.
Ironically, they're actually here meeting now, the status, trying to move things forward to find out. It's important. So once they get any concrete information, they do plans to update us. Andrew. We shouldn't get back into that much. Because it's gonna take about the same amount of time. Maybe, it may increase the convenience level, trying to equipment, if things run at night. Which is stuff, where it should, whatever the time frame should be the same, with day or night.
So I will give you the, look of the presentation. And it says that construction was supposed to start on September 30th, 2024, so we're like late. And the construction completion basically we have 9/30/2024 start date was September 30th, 2027. So we're looking at a 3-year project.
I'll say it. So according to the project schedule, which was the original design completion date, would have been December 30th, 2023. Construction start date would have been September 30th, 2024, ending September 30th, 2027. So this is a 3-year project. So this is a disturbance for 3 years. Estimating it. Correct. So therefore, that's why this motion comes up, where again, you're not opposed to the work that needs to be done. It's just the time and the hours, because it is gonna disrupt your community. Okay, any more questions? No? Okay, we'll take to a vote. Colleen?
Ready, Mr. Cost? To be noted. Tasha Henderson. Tasha. Leader. There you are, sir. Oh, you. Margaret Chapman. Molly Cross. You wish to be noted. You wish to be noted, then? Brad Ross. Albert Radler. Law, wait. William Burke, Daphne, Ian Miller. Division Blue. Everybody else. Stephen Baldwin, the vote. Jesus Baldwin, County. Marcus McClure. Diane. Doug Britt. Roger Milan. Evelyn Hunter. Mohammed Salad.
Whoops.
Robert Scott. Glenn Hollister. Jay Wilson. And Bernard. Second, motion passed.
Thank you, now we're moving on. So our next motion is from the executive committee as well. And this is page 27, page 28. This is to send a letter of support, supporting Darling Gardens LLC, conditional adult use retail cannabis dispensary license application for 92 West 225th Street, Bronx, New York, 146 63 to the office of management. And this follows state and city laws. The recommendation actually is the senators. I just read, the rationale is that there are no schools within 500 feet. There is no places of worship within 200 feet. There are no public facilities within 500 feet. There are no active or pending licenses within 1,000 feet. Hours of operation being 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday to Saturday. There will be security, there will be one security guard and 22 plus cameras. There is a second point, every resident will have accessible to staff only. They're committed to local hire, and the business has secured a lease or a certificate of occupancy. Do I have a second motion? Thank you, Bernard. Discussion, questions? Law? There is a bus stop. This is, the location is on 225th Street on the corner of Target, where the T-Mobile used to be at, that's the location. You have the 9, the 7, and the 12. And the one train as we know this. Sure. Toby? when, they came to present, they came with their person that handles all of the checking the boxes within the state, they have met every criteria. They have, that's where we asked all the questions as to where they were, they were knocked it out. We had a public hearing about this, and it was a little lengthy. First, we did have questions as to whether, what, in what section, what location, what it was around. And they seem very, clear cut that they're crossing their, time their responsibilities based on the state's regulation. You want something, Jake? Andrew? No, they're a local city company. They have a few, locations, we did ask that, and their locations have been very successful and no reports of any incidents whatsoever. Their signage is very clean from what they described to us in the public hearing. So, we saw no need, we saw no red flags, because it seems like they were doing their homework, they've had a few offices, and it's a family-owned business. Jason.
That's. And. It's. Right. Let's go over it. And then really most that's me. We call that is just.
Now, say, if you look at your meeting packet on page 6. This is how the storefront, like, so when they work with the Office of Cannabis Management, the stores. It's not the same, it doesn't look the same as an unlicensed. If you ever see an unlicensed store, if you look in your meeting package on page 5, there's a QR code. How to promote illegal store, say, and that's an example of how the store looks like, so it. Right, yeah. So the. Right.
Well, the difference is in the packet is the one at the top shows what a license, state license looks like. There is no signature, there is no track. There's nothing that can say that this is an illegal cannabis. One of them is the one that shows illegal. Yes. But
Yeah, and I would say this is something that the applicants, when they came to the public hearing, they looked it up and see on license.
they did point out that there is an illegal one, so they're fully aware. I did ask, a lot about, the security features, what does that look like? There will be a security guard at the front entrance. They have to have state ID. You have to be of the age in order to enter their premises. There's a security camera. They have been in communication with all the local precincts. They're doing their rounds to make sure that they are very well connected within the community, the NCOs. They know with the NCOs and the COs to make sure that they are aware that they're coming into this part of the neighborhood, and that they do want to be notified any issues that can happen. Also, they advise them that the businesses in that corner, all the business owners, they have each other's numbers, so they have some sort of communication within each other. So if something happens in that corridor, they are all notified at the same time. With that being said, any other questions? So we can take a vote. Helene? Where is the house? I'll shut Andrew. What do you want to say? What? What do you do? Martin Charlie. Mom, Lily. When you know. Then you have people. We have many directives. Junior. The fusion color. You lay out. You. Things go back above. All the legend. Tower.
Oh,
What do you think, right? Or just.
I said, step front.
Strong. When it comes to. You wish to be known. Like an insurance firm. Jacob.
Chair, I members of the committee board said, public, I think last time I joined you, it was Broadway, that's her. That's Yaya. She co-chairs every hearing with me. She co-chairs every hearing with me. She goes to, she's like, but good evening, everybody. Somebody say hello. And the main update that I can pull out today is invitation, I'm sure Chair is shared with you and Mr. Manager. We're going to be having a community working group meeting for the Kingsbridge Armory Monday. Mr. Simmons, sorry, I should have discussed. You're the wrong issue. At 6:30. Monday at 6:30, we're going to college. And that's really the most important thing for the district. For the armory development, the city has selected the developer. They are called the 8th Regiment Partners. They're led by Mag Equities, who's an important, also known for affordable housing development. And what they're doing right now is that they are seeking to the community, seeking to potential tenants of a business. Oh, okay. We also have a partner. Wow. And for the members of the community, seven there, you know, have seen how the community working, and this is a very good time, right, to communicate to the working group. Yes, 4,000 people from our neighborhood in the Bronx came out to all of the events and said, this is what we want to see at the art. Want to see youth services, want to see places for the older adults of our community. We also want jobs, we want good paying community jobs, right? And so this is an opportunity to, like, with the actual people who are going to come on the calendar, borrowing to make a redevelopment. To have them here directly from me. I want to shout out Mr. Gustavo Rivera, our first super, I would say, yeah, all of the Bishop, Georgia Alvarez, we're all united, we're speaking to them with one voice, saying we need to have a project here that the community wants to see.
So that's first and foremost, please come. Second, know your rights trainings. People are very brave during these times, there's been very high profile people, like my sister neighborhood, people who have legal status, right? People who have, we've seen nationwide examples of people who are citizens being picked up by ICE, without regard to that citizenship status. We've seen it in our neighborhood, people with status being picked up. And so we've been moving several lawyers this Thursday. We have them over Zoom, to the details of social media account. I know we also have them on real. So please spread the word, share it, follow us on Instagram and share it out to your people or X or Blue Sky or whatever people are using these days. It's a lot of it. Those are my main updates. We also are moving and I'll have to. We are moving from 10 school to building here. We're moving intro 1063, which is the housing rescue and resident integrator, which takes up land. I often say that this is legislation that I want this to pass because it allows, if you design the program the right way, which try to do with HPE and other partners, you design the program the right way, it allows them to escape properties, making bad numbers, bad numbers. The program for that is the program in the past had a lot of flaws, a lot of critiques, but the tool, right, you can use a knife to do horrible things, or you can use it to make up like a family dinner, right? Tool of municipal foreclosure, which underlies, that the third party transfer, that tool can be used for good. It can be used to uplift our communities. So I'm very excited that bill is moving. We're gonna have more round of workshops just to make sure we get all the amendments right. We will be passing for the rest of the few months. And then lastly, street vending, yeah, everybody's favorite topic, street vending. I am the lead sponsor of Intro 431, which is a bill that is lift the caps to street vending. If and only if we'll have lots of stakeholder conversations, lots of table discussion. We invite you to be a part of those May 6th to the next hearing. But if there are enforcement provisions, the enforcement capacity, right? So I also compared the illegal street vending in the city of New York to what if tomorrow we just said, okay, we can only have 100 licenses on the road. It's only 100 licenses. If you have a car and you have a license to that, because and you have if you want to drive, there's only 100 licenses. That's what we'll do with street vending. Just have an artificial cap. And 90% of the street vendors in our area, 70 to 90% of the city of New York, licensed, right? So we're trying to fix that, it's legislation. Maybe make our streets more shareable and more livable for all.
So they licenses to. Ditches.
That's an excellent question, and I am proposing to give it to veterans. So veterans are actually the only New Yorkers who have access to unlimited number of licenses for liquor. So that's it, that's truly because in law, we actually don't change that when we want to. So they have a very constitutional status. And if you know any veteran person wants to vend and they're running into an issue, you should refer them to us because they shouldn't have any merits. Our questions, those that you see on the ends, that's a big groups of what we see on case version for them, even on Birdside, ready illegal. But we don't have enough enforcement capacity to do it. So we just have like every 1 out of 50 vendors, sometimes they'll get all of their stuff swept up and then they'll be really sad because it would hurt, right? Economically hurt because that was your livelihood. And then they'll look, right? And that's the one is a system where you have a license to protect it. And the way you protect it is that you follow all the laws and you locate where you're.
Is there a way to create like smaller? Yeah, is there a way to create some other opportunities for those street vendors to be able to actually, make a living? Because otherwise, it's not balanced to actually give full license and that.
Yeah, so the question was, is there any way to provide more opportunities for street vendors to make a livelihood, to make a livelihood. Yeah, great, that's a great question. Many street vendors begin their journey, right? And then they're able to formalize, they start their businesses. And that's sort of the vision, right? We want people to maybe start as a street vendor, but then, become small business or brick and mortar, want it to be a path. But today, almost everybody who's a street vendor is doing it illegally. Because not because I like still think that if you're not harming the community, then just trying to do your own, we should figure out a way to be illegal, that's what my girl is about. But we just haven't had, right? So that's number one, it's shit. The legislation, my bill brings in licenses and enforcement. There's another bill that brings in education, right, and outreach. And there's other bills that work on compensation issues, especially this time on the trauma preparation policy that we're seeing, like you said, it's very difficult to pass that. So these policies together try to make it so that being a street vendor is not dangerous. It's a dignified way that you can make a living for your family in harmony with the rest of the community. May 6th, 10 a.m., please come, share your notes, we'll have a public hearing. And if you can't make it, you can write in, if you want to participate over Zoom, that's also. There are no licenses. There are no licenses. So I need to start. There are no licenses today, so that's all this.
Thank you, Councilman, for stopping by. Questions coming in and showing up and giving us updates on what's going on in our city and our state. Thank you very much for coming by, I appreciate it. And moving along on solution and trying to make this as quick as possible because we are at 8:18. The next motion is to send a letter to the Ministry Services respectfully declining to provide potential shelter splitting locations to the agency. Our district is overburdened. And the rationale for this is voting to start motion. The rationale is to send a letter. Basically, just letting them know respectfully that one community is already being written, and we understand there is a housing. We do understand that, but so right now, enough is enough for this. No. Okay, we're gonna second the motion and we'll come back to your question. Do I have a second to? June. Thank you. Okay, now to your question. Yes, critical record saying that we're not. That we're all aware that there is a housing situation, but. We are overburdened and we don't have, there's no resources, and it's hard to get resources. We're dealing with, citywide issues, state issues, federal issues. For right now, we're overburdened and we just want to say that we respectfully decline to give more sites for shelters for right now. Yes. Oh, that's what I can say. We started out more people. Well, the Department of Social Services was the one who came asking more, so we're sending it to them and our elected officials can come on our level all the way through. Thank you. Betty? So, snapshot, how many are according to the district? There were the 12. We counted 12. From one, that's just one agency, there's also the terms, there's special to that we are in ready to. So I'm saying, so we're not saying that housing is not an issue, you know? It's not just a city issue, it's a state issue, so right now, for us, we don't need it. So, just one scatter. Their data that they gave to us is only specific to that. So they're really where we're giving us the one they're looking for. Again, go to every elected official, to the agencies and granted, this is all public record. So they're going to share with each other, you remind them. So I do agree with the rationale, maybe just to be, reworded, just, bringing us down the resources.
Can you add senior, housing? I know you say market affordable. You say senior housing too? So that's something I always get asked. For seniors. Because we just said affordable housing, you know, what we.
They actually decided scratch off that. And
Well, you're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, we're just kind of simplify to say that our district is overburdened and does not have resources. Because what they're looking for the sites that we were not gonna do, we didn't. Any other questions?
Do we know what, the other districts have, so we can make a comparison of how overburdened, how overwhelming?
We are in the districts that have the most sheltered and under-sheltered in all of the Bronx.
That's, that's a proof that we can accommodate it in.
Correct. This is why we're respectfully, that we went through the data, look at national. 2 hours, just to make sure that we were doing, our. Okay, anything else? None? Okay, if that's how we take to a vote, please. Okay. So this is on the voting, with the correction, for the restaurant. Okay. Where is it cost? Tasha Andrews. Maybe Orson. No, okay. The higher. Martin County. Well. I'm already from. Simon Erickson, Chris. Dr. Brandon. Well, Green. Green, you now have your points. New York. Mr. Shaggers, and you should come. You may know it. You know, right about. Prove the change. Asian law president. Marcus Clark.
Andrew Reynolds. Robin Roland. Stephen Padilla. Mohammed Savannah. Robert Brown. Gwen Thomas Stephen. And Bernard. Motion passed unanimously. Yes.
I understand that the next one, we are committee chair. They are in minutes, I'm just gonna bypass that. No, they're in the minutes because we are. It's behind, we do have a day, college for. This is the evening, right? In 23, maybe 2 hours. Shows like it's a minute. So my name is Alina Dow, School Director for the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to come and share a few things. I know composting was a big issue. The mayor heard everyone's concern. So right now, there's going to be a break on the fines. Composting is not stopping, but there is going to be a break on the fines. There's going to be doing more outreach and education. And like compost is really going to help the environment. Most mayor did have a couple of amazing announcements. One of them was that $167 million was put into the early childhood education. It was focused really on expanding pre-K, pre-K, but also for the seats for children with disabilities. In addition to that, Gideon Shed Staff Initiative, which was one of the things that the councilman was discussing, and something that the mayor had pushed with. And one of the things that was missed was he really wants to crack down on the contractors that are leaving the sidewalk sheds up and using this as a way to not. However, they want to make sure that more fines and fees and stuff are being allocated to the people that are using this particular system. And that's something that the mayor has definitely been working towards. In addition, as you're aware, the mayor has been saying this from day one, public safety, public safety. So he has, he's going to be actually demolishing all the guns, over 3,000 something guns, just for a few months that were taken off the streets. He's going to be crushing them, demolishing them, in efforts to really show people, if you get a legal gun, it will be taken in and will be demolished. And in addition to that, he has heard the cries and complaints of quality of life issues, noise complaints. So he has announced a pilot program for quality of life, which is like a Q team within inside the NYPD. We call them health for everything. But this is going to be a new sort of officers that are just going to be needed to deal with quality of life issues. So that's all being worked on. Once I get all the information, I'll definitely share how the pilot program is going to be rolling out. And just because I didn't hear it, DEP is having eligible homes are able to receive free lead pipe replacement. The pipes that come from the street, the city into your building are lead free. They can guarantee that. However, the pipes that are from the building coming into your house might possibly have lead. So there is a free lead pipe program with DEP that homeowners are able to find information. I'll make sure to provide that information to the community board and so that they should. Publishing. Other than that, I agree with something stated today. If anyone has any other questions for me, please do not hesitate. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Moving along, is there any looking at people's controllers? We don't, any here from the public? The near. Switches. 10 feet. Is that correct? Police. Well, anyone?
Turns off. Ron from the meetings is out on maternity leave. So in the meantime, we had this past safety fair Yes, for the 16 Stir. It's a huge hit, whenever we had over 800 people in attendance, now. Doing, dress to giveaway. And the mall that they Plaza, Saturday, May 3rd, there's flyers in English, Spanish, or table for interested, we have literally hundreds of dresses and suits to give away, so please tell them all to come and take so that we can great place. Thank you so much.
President, the Citizen's Office, Mr. Kiara, like, next, anyone here from Council Tourism's Office? Javier Maximilian, Councilman, Ms. Fayad.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, my name is Maximo Javier, from the Commissioner of the Studios Office, District Manager. Just this past week, we held actually it was last Wednesday, Medicaid Matters, Give Action. We held it with our partners. We sent them in George Alvarez's office, had a great turnout, new people showed up, some union members as well. Why Medicaid Give Action? Because our district, 13th congressional, holds about 500,000 people that have Medicaid. Okay, and Medicaid right now is being dragged by the administration, by the Trump administration. We had about 30,000 Medicaid. We had almost 200,000 Social Security enrollees, and 35% of them are children. Food stamps, we have about 300,000 recipients of food stamps. SNAP is also being implemented in this administration. And help with children's hospital, which about 80% of their inmates were Medicaid assistance. So, we definitely, had a great turnout, and we want that to spread in terms of, the threat that's being, placed. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be us, gonna be able to, repel these actions that have been made in the administration. The congressman had introduced Bipartisan Training and Nutrition Stability Act, plans to reintroduce that as well. This is in regards to the eligibility of SNAP. Briefly, just say in terms of the cases or caseloads at the office that we have. Know your rights, is key. In the last 3 months, we have I have personally 150 cases regarding immigration, 1,250 cases. So I personally, had about 10 to 15 cases per day. That's throughout the day, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But the whole office, including the Harlem office, the Washington Heights office, we have 2 specialists at the Harlem office. They see, and I've seen them in the last 3 months, they have seen 400. So this is urgent for our community. This is real. So in terms of what the congressman has done locally is, there was a drop check. That was last election. The drop check was last Wednesday, which was $840,000 to Lorraine Senior Center, Valentine. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to hold an education forum at the Washington Heights Academy for 16. All that's not in the books. So, yeah. So any questions? My phone number is 646-740-3632. My email is maximo.va@mail.com. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have, anybody have? Okay, anyone here from Senator Robert Jackson's office? Anyone here from Senator Mustafa Burris? Sorry?
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to be brief as possible. If you don't know me, my name is Sally Musa, the director of Trade Affairs of Senator Gustavo Levin. Please keep in touch with us. I have a short notes on the table or WhatsApp documents currently in Spanish. I have the newsletter that is really in English. So if you have questions, stay in touch with us. We continue to have a lot of webinars that are live streamed on Facebook. If you missed it, don't worry, we're still there. In person, but if we actually have another one that's full ownership on one, flyers on the table, QR code, you can create a register. We continue to host information and housing clinics on a monthly basis. Those are people come fairly quickly, so really things will be help anyone who's in need of these services. Last, so very from the health link and for residents office, we have a community shower right here in this room, and I'm sure Christiana can tell you more about basically chaotic it was, but there was so many points I can tell you that there were over 100 attendants. Our team gave out so much baby clothes, and we still have leftover blankets. If you know anyone, stop by our district office. On us evening at our so much to do us that yesterday, to clean up, I didn't realize that picky you have to be a little bit picky on the small things. The quality of equipment that we have to print, pictures, so we'll send that over. We do have a meeting later next, like Carla said, I'm here today, we're at home, because of the budget hasn't passed level, unfortunately, and we were wrong 2 weeks of pending in the district. Because of this, it is delayed. However, we do have a meeting this Friday, and I know it's not sudden, but it is a meeting agreement. It talks about a couple of subjects that folks would like to discuss. We are planning and trying to work out logistics for 2 hours. Middle Facebook and answer questions. We'll talk about Medicaid, food security, care, and city. So if you're interested, feel free to interface with me after. So let me see. We will be invoice. When I get so I can have the list to or compete. There's still slots open, so if you know any of these locations, them to just stop by. It's fall at 10 a.m. For conference, council member and the other folks mentioned the importance of keeping our community informed and safe. We continue to distribute these cards to all these 7's rules in our district and community institutions and so many more. But some here on the table. If you would like some, just feel free to email me anytime. I know I said I'd keep it short, but thank you.
Anyone here from Assembly Member Manny Lozano's office? Is there anyone here from Assembly Member George Howell's? Langston?
Yes. It feels great to be back here, 2047. Excuse my absence, I was gone for a few months because I'm currently studying as well as I'm working. I'm living in the status of the over hours. It feels great to be back in with the boss. Our office is open on Friday, it's time for 6:30 to 7. No comments are needed, you can walk home. We are now, if anyone that is facing any troubles in as I did, getting real ID, you guys need to be on stage on this, system and everything. We're also helping those that just need to see that, they need assistance in registering, setting up your accounts, page.line as well. Some are similarly, 3 trips to the report. As I mentioned, we were last week when we come to regarding this figure. Works group, making sure that our constituents know that they're about Medicaid and we're trying to be on the front lines fighting for grants. So then system. And it's very important what's going on right. Our souls are strong, we have strong figures out. So once again, all of us have a speech we can't pass.
If you guys need any assistance regarding, legal services, we're going to have next month. Do so, stop at our office. For citizenship, free citizenship decisions, so please call my office at 718-933-2204. Number is 917-250-6391. You guys can call me anytime, text me, anything, there's, you can attest to that. We talked about on some, but the basis and give it help, thank you.
Before we please. Ignacio all day.
Ignacio,
Thank you, Ignacio. Moving on. We do very well to do. Here over there, moving along, assembly member, do they got? Gabriela.
Director, of Student Services Acts, Marie Gomez, for years office. Currently, is school member in the company, she's been involved in real estate since January, the budget, getting legislation passed. Right now, she's been requesting the budget, some of the priorities include $15 million for mental health clubhouses, 5 million for this program, local community organizations, 10 million for city-led violence prevention in the Northwest Bronx, and about 7,500,000 to support organ and preventive tissue donation programs. We've introduced a number of bills focused on tenant protections, primarily including penalties for landlords on reverse landlord lists, increased transparency for building ownership, as well as timely repair patients for tenants. Also financial assistance and relocation support for tenants, who have been experiencing unreduced Medicaid orders. We've currently been launching, different housing resource clinics, one today with NIMIC, to help constituents avoid eviction and just navigate housing court proceedings. And last month, we hosted a Women's History Month celebration with Councilmember Sanchez, honoring her misconduct women and other controversial topics. We're located at 2175 Durham Drive, and number is 718-633-6909. Yeah, you have anything related? 718-633-690. Thank you.
Thank you, number. Moving on. We have an assembly member, John Parks. Moving on, and last but not least, George Parks. Love.
Started with the meeting, and we're here today, with all vacation. So I'll get him that. Well, good night, everyone. Mrs. Diaz, Chief of Staff, Laura, Council Member, Council Feliz, has been to community board 7 in Lyle, she's almost college. So, why? So some updates for Council Member Feliz, tomorrow he's going to be hosting a town hall meeting to discuss Old Fort Library located at 2556 Bainbridge Avenue. The Old Fort Library has been maintained for the past 20 years. So we're going to host a town hall meeting at the Bronx Library Center, 6:30 p.m. If you need more information, there are flyers back. Also tomorrow, we're going to host in our office, Department of Buildings. So if you know somebody, district or neighbor, yourself, assistant in the Department of Buildings, please come to our in a nice East Quarter Road from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We want to have a representative in the Department of Buildings there. Last Friday, so in a couple days, we had our community day over Zoom. We hosted a lot of the participants and a lot of members of the community. Carla was there, and of course, it was a great time with community members. As for services that we are providing, have immigration services Tuesdays. So if you know somebody or yourself needs assistance with immigration, you guys can reach our office 718-842-8100 to make an appointment with our immigration attorney. We used to offer tax prep services as well, but obviously that ended. So if you guys need any assistance, whether with housing, whether it be with or anything at all, please reach our office, once again, my name is Martha Diaz, and you guys can always reach me at 7-814-3168. Thank you, have a great night.
Thank you for the time. Law?
Question? My out. Spring is coming. There's a lot of commercial park. Many community works out, many different. Yet there's my spring. We should be there. And be honest. Stop. Smart. Sorry. Stop. And one different. So now, graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. I want to jump a little bit for me because what I was gonna say is our calendars to go back over. And in March, we have May 1st. DOT, then transportation. And our final meeting on May transportation 6, housing the 13th, first and 14th, the executive will be on the 15th. May 17th is our event at the Victory Memorial. We lighting event for Warren. We will have this from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please come out as a great event. You're going to be amazing. Forward, it's great. We hope to have an event next year. Bronx Parade. Bronx Week Parade Festival will be May 18th. This is where is in our like Flo said. We do walk moving up the parade in the district. We're very complicated. It's our country, our season. It's from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event, you get to, there's activities, there's a whole bunch of park. It's much fun. So we need to see everybody here. You will meet at whoever. We'll send a few emails, everything we do, so that everybody have a meeting point. You can all learn around that. Open up and end the parade, Bronx Week. After that, veterans meet on the 21st. The 52nd Council Acoustic meeting will be on the 22nd. Memorial Day will be May 26th. The office will be closed. That's thing on the 27th. I saw it right back, so you're here. Okay, great. And with that being said. We're meeting, general board meeting will be May 27 at Pitt Elementary School, located at 2720 Jerome Avenue. With that being said, do I have a motion closed? Thank you, all in favor?